Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jimeron, and today we're going to figure out what in the world is Frostpunk. I'm sorry, I had to enjoy the music a little bit because the music in the intro menu is just incredible. So what is Frostpunk? Well, Frostpunk is a city builder, but not quite the traditional city builder. It has a really interesting, unique twist to it, which we're going to get to in a moment. But I just want to say that I really love city builders, and to see one innovating as much as Frostpunk has, it's a really welcoming pleasure. So first things first, so we're going to look at the settings menu. Nothing incredible. Full ultra-wide is supported, I would say, admirably. There's no distortion, there's no lines, there's no clipping, no problems whatsoever that I can see, which is really nice to report. So you have a few settings that you can change. You got shadow quality, texture, snow quality, particles, full screen, anti-aliasing, which is nice, but I'm on borderless window, so it doesn't really matter. I always turn that off anyway. Ambient occlusion, global illumination, and depth of field. I'll always have this off, as well as motion blur. You have some audio settings that you can change right here. Pretty nice that you can control all of these options separately. And then controls, I don't really care about the controls. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff that you should be changing. It's pretty self-explanatory, but my my primary use when it comes to hotkeys on city builders and RTS games is the WASD directional. You can rotate with Q and E, which is nice. The zoom in is kind of weird. We're gonna look at it in the game. There's only like 3 or 4 stages of zoom in that you can do, which is kind of unfortunate, but nonetheless. What do you have as far as options for gameplay? Well, you have scenarios that you can play. You have A New Home, the main story. You have the Arcs, Refugees, Fall of Winter Home, and The Lost Autumn. This one is a DLC, which I'm not in possession of. And then there's another piece of DLC that I have, which is the Endless Mode. It gives you these 3 maps that you can play for Endless Mode. And then it also provides a new building, which is the bridge, and some other features that are pretty negligible. I don't think that should have been a DLC, or at least it should have been a free DLC, but regardless, this is how you can get the Endless Mode. The nice thing about the game is that when you play a scenario, you have pretty much some chapters that you can choose from. It dynamically moves from chapter to chapter throughout the gameplay. You don't have to worry about exiting and loading, which is really nice. I really like that. But for now, I'm gonna resume my Endless Mode, so we can check out a few of the gameplays that the game has to offer, which again, it's pretty unique. The core gameplay is that you have a heater in the center of your community, and then it's not a square layout that you're going to create your city. It's going to be circular, and it's all going to revolve around the heater core. So here it is. These are the zoom levels. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. That is pretty much it, which is kind of sad, but regardless, most of the maps are not going to have the canyons that you see here, but because this is the expansion, it wants to justify using a bridge. This is just one of those maps that will have a lot of canyons, and you're going to have to use bridge. So what is this game? So here's your heater core. This is the heart of your community, the center of end all be all. Now you're going to start the game off, you're not going to have any buildings whatsoever. You're going to have just a stockpile building, and that's it. First thing you want to do is create tents around your heater core in order to house all of your citizens. You have 2 types of citizens. You have 3 types technically. You have children, you have engineers, and you have workers. There's certain types of resources and labors that only engineers can do, and certain types that only workers can do, and then both of them can do. So for example, if you want to gather wood crates, you can send both of the types of workers there. But if you want to do some research, you can only send engineers. Let's start off by the 3 types of resources and the extra type of resource that you're going to need in order to create certain buildings. Well, 4 types, because you have food as well. Maybe 5, I guess. Whatever. You have coal, which is used for heating up your heater core. And then later on, when you research it, steam cores that are going to be placed around the map dynamically, because this can only reach out a certain amount of distance. You have wood, which is primarily used to finance upgrades on your technology tree, which we're going to get to later. And they're also used. Wood is also used to create expedition groups, which you can send out on this map, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well. And then wood is also used to turn into coal if you run out of coal to mine around you, and you cannot reach a coal deposit in time. By the way, that's something that you should rush to do as soon as possible. And then let's talk about this. The steel. Steel is primarily used for upgrades in your technology tree, and then it can also be used to build certain buildings, like when you have tents which only require wood, but you can research houses which require a little bit of more steel. So it's important to get that. Raw food is what your hunters bring back from the hunter's hut. See, only workers can be sent for hunting, not engineers. Raw food is going to be brought back at the end of the night. So in the morning, here they are. Speak of the devil. These guys are returning from their hunt, and they're going to be bringing up raw food. Raw food is going to be used in the cookhouse, which is right here, in order to create food rations. And you can research soup and standard meal, which is going to be the default that is unlocked over here. It is important to have a balance of hunters and cookhouse. As you can see right now, my raw food is starting to be a little bit of extra because I have actually 2 hunter units being sent out every night, and they have the upgrade from the technology tree. And then you have steam cores. Steam cores are important for a few reasons. Steam cores are required to build advanced mining buildings, such as a iron ore deposit extractor. So we're just going to show you here. This is the build menu. These are the stuff that I've unlocked so far. Resources. Wall drill. It can dig inside the walls for wood, because you can mine this wood here and the wood crates and everything, but eventually it's going to run out, so you're going to have to figure out how to infinitely secure that resource. You have the coal mine, which you need to place into a coal, where is it? Coal deposit, which I can, oh, there we go, here we go. So, this one right here. Notice how far away it is from the base and how many canyons are separating me from it. So I have to build bridges in order to get to this. And bridges are not cheap at all. But that is something that you have to plan for. And then you're also going to need it for steelworks. And you can only place those on iron ore deposits, respectively as well. So these are your primary resources here. And you're going to notice there is a temperature overlay right here, which is really, really important to keep an eye on. But also equally important is to keep an eye on the fluctuation of the temperature on the upcoming days. So this will show you temperature will drop by 1 level, it will rise by 1 level. I'm on the easy, relatively easy game mode here with the endless mode, so holy crap, I'm just now realizing that I'm running out of coal. That is no bueno. I'm gonna have to build a bridge, and I'm gonna have to build a bridge towards this way, so let's do that. Let's see if we can build a bridge yet. We cannot build bridge because we need 150 steel and 200 wood. Holy crap. So we have 10 free workers. These guys are getting the wood from here, and we're gonna have these guys are already gathering this wood, which is great. Steel wreckage, wood crates. I'm gonna focus on the steel for now, just to get that going. But we are kind of a pickle. So as you're gonna see, coal is 54 right now. That is because when you start the game, you see a lot of these around your base. It's wood crates, steel wreckage, coal deposits, and everything that you're going to be gathering, but they run out very quickly. So I kind of didn't plan very well, and I should have started building bridges to get to this coal pile and mine it, but I'm sure we're going to figure it out. So that is it for the resources. You can speed up the game, which is necessary, but here's a criticism that I have for the game. If I could critique one thing, is when you're fast forwarding, the game will oftentimes abruptly slow down your game speed back to the regular, just 1. It will do it when some form of event happens in your base. So let's say you're running out of coal, your people are hungry, people are getting injured all the time, work time is over, and you're going to free time at night. Or vice versa, free time's about to end, and we're going to go back to work time. It always brings the speed back down to normal. That's kind of annoying because there's no indication, there's no pop-up anywhere on the game to let you know, hey, this is why we're slowing down, this needs your attention. It would be nice to know, okay, you paused my speed, why? Let me know why, so I can address it. That's just a minor thing, it's not anything to write the game off for, of course, but it's kind of annoying when you're in a roll and you want to get to something real quick, and then I glance at my phone for a few seconds, and then I come to find out that the game is paused. So that's just the only thing. You can actually also pause the game if you want to focus on a few things. Now these things right here, these are the workshops. They take 5 engineers each. You can build multiple in order to speed up the research process in the technology tree. This is your technology tree. This is where you're going to be spending a lot of the resources in order to unlock more stuff. You have heating things, generator efficiency. This would actually be something cool to research right now because I'm running out of coal, but it's not going to make a difference because it needs resources necessary to build a bridge, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. But you can increase the generator range and the power level. You want to increase the power level because in more difficult scenarios during the campaign, it drops to really cold temperatures, and level 1 or level 2 is just not going to cut it. So looking at your generator, you're going to have to be a level 4, which of course is going to be using a lot more coal, and that's why you also need to research the efficiency. So everything has a method in the madness, of course, and then you can set the range because you're going to be building a base way bigger than 4 lanes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's when you're going to be building additional steam hubs just like this, and it all has to be adjacent to a street, otherwise it's not going to be working. That aside, this is the technology tree. You're going to do exploration stuff. Exploration may not seem important in the beginning, but trust me, it is really important because that's how you depend on getting more survivors into your base and more steam cores early on, because yeah, we can mine a steam core here, but this is how many bridges I have to build in order to get the steam cores. It is not viable. Although you start with some steam cores, you're going to run out of them very quickly. And steam cores, besides the buildings that you need them to build for the mining, they're also necessary in order to build automation. Automations are machines that you can either find while exploring or build later down the line when you have researched the factory and build the factory and send engineers there to build them. Automations are machines that will replace workers from, let's say, a steel mine deposit or coal mine, or if you do the research, that can actually take over medical facilities which are used to treat the wounded. And the thing with automations is when they're actually mining and doing work, they can do it 24/7, but they do it at a much lower efficiency than the workers. But the workers, at the end of the day, they have to go home and they have to rest overnight. So if you want to be really macro, you can actually have your automations do random stuff throughout the base, and when nighttime comes, you can replace the workers with the automation and then replace them back up when the working day starts, which can be quite frustrating. But eventually what I'll do is I'll have my automations in all of the factories, so I don't have to worry about my workers getting cold. because they're not going to be able to go outside and work when it's super cold. They're going to get sick. Your hospitals and your medical posts are going to be overflowing with injured people, and they're just going to start dying left and right. So that is the basics for the automations in the Steam cores. This is a really nice interactive overlay here, where you can see the temperature of your colony. So as you can see, my thing is a Steam core level 2, and I don't know why. I need to drop it to 1 because it's really chewing through all of the coal that I have left, and that is not something I'm going to be happy about. So, technology tree, let's see what we can do. I'm going to have to build one of these machines. This is a coal mining machine. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm thinking of a coal thumper. So, a coal thumper, you can place it anywhere on your base, near your base, and it will just dig up coal from the ground. The kicker is that you're gonna have to send workers to go pick it up because they put it next to the facility. I had a hard time finding that out. So, unfortunately, it's gonna cost us 15 wood, but we really don't have a choice here, do we? We're kind of effed in the A by default. So, as you're gonna notice, this thing tells me I need to connect it to a road, and it's as easy as that. So, let's look at the exploration a little bit. This is the exploration map. This is my one party, and this is the second party, and they're going to this question marks. The more question marks you discover, the more will show up. And eventually, there's going to be random events in those question marks, so there's going to be some polar bears trapping some people, and you either choose to leave them or fight the polar bears, risking your expedition party. And the reward's going to be getting a bunch of resources and survivors back to your base. And that is the primary way to get survivors back here and help you out with the labor distribution. I think that it's a really, really interesting concept. I really appreciate how unique the game is in terms of a structure and a concept that we haven't actually seen before. A city builder that is rotational and gravitates towards the center of the circle, which is pretty much the life force of the game. Now, on first glance, this may seem a little bit too easy, but this is because I've set it down on easy, because the difficulty spike from easy to medium is vast, and from medium to hard and very hard, it is just incredible. People get so needy. Your generator is chewing through the coal like there's no tomorrow, like it's his favorite food, and everyone gets sick. Everyone eats a bunch of fucking food. It gets really, really drastic up in here, and you're gonna see that when you play the campaign. Towards the end of the campaign, you'll see temperatures go down to pretty much below 130, I believe it was. And nobody can work at that time, so you're gonna have to make sure that you have gathered enough food to last you for days. I think it's like a 2-week thing that you have to survive for. So that's when the automations come in handy, because the automations will just keep working no matter how cold it gets. It is important to invest in automations very, very quickly, and it's gonna save your life in the end, for sure. So besides the difficulty spike, I really wish that easy wasn't this easy. So see the generator shutting down because I don't have, and I actually don't have anybody building this, so that has been unfortunate. We're gonna speed through because I want these guys to build this so I can start mining some coal. Come on, guys. Okay, so let's see what we can do. These guys reached here. We're gonna explore. Okay, so we found nothing, which is awesome. We're gonna send them to this question mark here, and these guys are also done. We're gonna explore this, try to shelter. That is pretty much it. So we're gonna send these guys here. You can have more expedition groups if you research it. So if you go back to the research, technology tree, exploration, you can have a third guy, and then you can also research outposts. And outposts are here, but I don't see them for this one, which is kind of weird. But anyway, the premise of the game is entirely unique, and it is really, really brilliant. It's not even that expensive to acquire. I think it's like $30 right now, which is crazy. So, last thing I want to mention is the Book of Laws. You have the Book of Laws, which is pretty much, essentially, it's laws that you pass through in order to help or benefit from the community. So you have adaptation, which is pretty much a few things that you can pass, like what you do with children. Do you want to make them work and increase the risk of having them get injured, or do you want to help them in medical facilities and stuff like that? You can create buildings that can help blow off some steam and reduce discontent. You can you can help with the food rations by investing in a soup, which people hate, but then you can research something that makes them not hate soup. So it gets kind of crazy with these things. A lot of different laws that you can do. One I recommend is the extended shift law. So it makes the working hours to 14 hours. So basically you're working almost a double shift every day, and you're gonna need that because the normal shift is gonna be very short, but that also increases discontent. And when you actually choose to implement a law, it will either increase or decrease the discontent related to that. The other category is purpose. So you get to choose. Not here. You don't get to choose. It's already on Book of Laws on purpose. But you can either choose to fight people and be more of a militaristic neighborhood, or you can choose hope, which introduces faith in the game, and people are going to be a little bit more hopeful that way. But the faith one is also pretty brutal because you can just hire people to start beating people on the streets. It gets crazy. But once you master one of these guys, House of Prayer. Okay, so that's how you choose your path. Once you master and you go to the final option on one of these guys right here, hope will forever be at its maximum. People are not going to be able to lose hope. And that is important because if hope goes down, pretty much everyone stops working and you lose the game. If discontent goes to the maximum, you lose the game again because people revolt against you. And you don't want to do that. So we're going to be mining for some coal here. We're still pretty warm. We don't necessarily need the generator, but it's always best to have it because the temperature is going to drop by one level, and that's when we're going to absolutely need the generator. So this one was a quick one, I believe. Pretty much covered everything about the game. This should give you a pretty good overlook and deciding whether or not you want to buy the game. I absolutely love the game. I sat down to play the game yesterday. I played the main campaign. It was daylight when I started playing the game, and then all of a sudden I look at the window and it's nighttime. I played for about 4 hours straight, and it kind of depressed me a little bit because I thought this is what it feels like to be in a casino, basically. So definitely be careful. Make sure you set a timer when you play this game because time goes by very quickly. And you don't want to be playing a game for this long without any stops. So I need 10 more steel. That is crazy. So steel wreckage. If you hover over here, it's going to show you where you have a lot of the workers. And looks like I have them spread out pretty evenly, which is nice. So I believe this is pretty much it for the game. I haven't gone into massive detail when it comes to strategies, but now you have all the information necessary in order to decide whether or not you want to invest any time in the game. Real quick, I noticed that there was a huge surge of subscribers, and I really appreciate that. Thank you everybody to subscribed, and I hope you stay around for the long run. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions, please put them down below in the comments, and I will consider them. I always like feedback. As you can imagine, I'm a huge fan of criticism, so don't be afraid to critique, right? That's what we do in this channel. As long as it's healthy, of course, and constructive. But that being said, this was the What in the World is Frostpunk. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.